What's up everyone? AJ on Day Trader Boomer Bust here with today's recap. I hope you had a great trading day. As the video title states, rules were broken and I broke them. I took more trades than I was allowed to. And when rules are broken, you pay the price. And I paid the price. I ended up taking 1.6R more of a loss than I should have. So let's talk about what went down today. Here's today's watch list. I post this every morning between 9 and 9:15 a.m. on my Twitter. If you want to make sure to catch that, give me a follow at AJ Tabayan. So on the watch list today, I had Uber, which was trading on news, and I also had Lucid and Apple AAPL as continuation plays. And then on the secondary list, I had PLTR, BA, and Nvidia all as continuation plays. It was a little difficult to narrow down a watch list this morning because we had a decent gap down yesterday, and then in the pre-market there was a gap up. It would have been, I feel, a little bit better to have a bit of a continuation on that, on more of a pullback, but it is what it was, and this was my watch list today. Okay, so let's talk about what I did today. So as I talked about in the intro, broke rules, and this is a 9, not an inverted 6. It is a 9. So I clearly took 3 more trades than I was allowed to today. That is really, it's just really disappointing on my part. But I also realized that it is, it was clear before, and it's even more clear now that this is just something I really, really need to address, which is why it's a good thing I'm, going through this exercise now. I don't expect to be perfect, but I expect to improve. So, it wasn't all bad today, and I'll explain that. So, 3 more trades, and unfortunately, as you can see here, although I didn't take a huge loss today, wasn't a huge red day, this number here is 1.6R more than it should be. And this win rate here was hurt pretty significantly by these 3 additional trades here. And it was the 3 trades after the 6. The first 6, in all honesty, were actually, I felt good. They were solid trades. These were just, just me not following the rules. Undisciplined trades, let's call them. So anyways, so I paid the price, ended up with 1.6R more of a loss than I should have. Now, as far as the trades go, in addition to the, the P&L or monetary penalty I'm paying here, what I'm going to do is there's 3 more trading days this week, and for the last 3 days, I'm only going to allow myself to take 5 trades a day. I'm going to take 1 trade off per day out of that 6 number because clearly I used them up today. So it is what it is, and it's something that I have to learn. So anyways, only traded 2 tickers today. I traded Uber most, which is another thing that's just ironic, just because I have gotten sucked in on Uber in the past. I know that I have overall losing, rate, I guess, with Uber. Yet I allowed myself to kind of get caught up into it, and that's where those 3 additional trades happened. So let's start with the trades that were decent anyways. So this was Uber in the morning. So as you can see, I can probably be a little bit more patient, but I'm not trading within the first 2, 3, or even 4 minutes. This was in the 5th minute I took this trade, and by doing that, it's giving me a clearer picture of what the range is. But with Uber, and I guess when markets are choppy, I'm still going to potentially get caught in the range, in some range bound or choppy action. But when it does run, I'll catch some really good winners, and I have no problems with this trade. You can see that Uber started to push up, but it threw this upside down hammer, and this big wick here, and then through this big red candle, and I was playing for a push below the opening price here, and push below the body of this big red candle. I actually got, in this case, it would have been an advantageous fill because it kind of popped up on me. My stop loss was up here, and unfortunately, although it did go in my direction, it pushed back up and ended up stopping me out. After that, I continued to watch it. It stayed in this range, and once again, I felt, and I really felt that I was a little bit bearish on Uber because it had already gapped up quite a bit on the day. So when it pushed back below this level here, I went short, and this time I waited a little bit till it actually even passed the 50 SMA here, but unfortunately it just bounced off of there. It created a new low of day, which would have been great if it just continued, but it just bounced off, and which was possible because there are, as you can see, more moving averages here. But like I said, I felt it was weak and could have sold off, but it didn't, and ended up stopping me out here. So all told, I think I was down just under 2R at that point. And given my track record, I smartly looked away from Uber at that point. I didn't want to get more chopped up, and I was still trading, well, at least, mentally, I was, doing well there. So this is CCL, and on CCL, you can see that this is the opening price here, and it had set a bit of a range right here and up here. So I was waiting for it to break below that range as it traded in this area. So I took this trade just after 9:55 here. It broke below that range. Oh, sorry. What I'm drawing the arrows. So this is what I was showing. This is the range. This is the range here. This is the opening price. This is the top of the range. So when it broke below that range, I wanted to go short, and I did right at the break of that range. And when you time these trades right, these breakout trades, they work immediately in your favor. This quickly pushed down. My 2R profit target was just above S2 here. Now, because we'd already crossed pre-market low and previous day close and started to consolidate in this area here, I took a partial here just because I didn't know what it was going to do at that point, although it still really looked bearish. So I took a partial there. I took another partial when it passed the original 2R profit target, and then I held on as it pushed below that so that I could ensure that this trade returned over 2R. It actually returned 2.1R, I believe. So this was a great trade on CCL. I felt really good about that. And then on CCL, before I go back to Uber, I continued. I did continue to watch it through the day. I didn't know how much it was going to sell off, but I did wait for a bit of a pullback. And when it pulled back, let me just. So let's check. Maybe it's a little bit more apparent on the 5-minute chart here. So here on the 5-minute chart, you can see this is the push down with the original trades that I did, and I was waiting for a pullback, and I waited. I was going to wait for a pullback right back to the previous day close, and I guess I just wasn't patient enough. I just felt that this bit of anomaly. This is a big green candle on quite low volume. So when it threw a red candle here, I went short when it pushed below that particular red candle, and I thought it would continue a bit of a trend continuation down. And unfortunately, it didn't, and it continued to push up and ended stopping me out here. So that was another trade on CCL. I ended up taking about a 0.9 R loss on that trade. And then, the rest of the trades of the day were on Uber. So let's go back to Uber. So on Uber, you can see, it's like I mentioned earlier, it had gapped up already. It was trading above R6, I believe. It was quite strong on the day on some really strong news, and it was pushing up, as you could see, but it seemed to be stalling at this area here. You can see that it bounced off that area, and when it threw this upside down hammer, I thought it might be time for a bit of a pullback, maybe the VWAP before it, and I fully realized that it could continue. I thought it might pull back at least to VWAP. So I took this trade, and this was actually a winning trade. This came back to the 20 20 EMA, and my profit target was right here. It came so close, and because I mentioned this in my recap yesterday, because it had gone more than 1.5 R in my direction, I had moved the stop loss to break even. So this was essentially a break even trade because it came back on me, but it was so that I should have felt positive about that, meaning that I didn't get the win necessarily, but I didn't lose anything on that trade, but it frustrated me that it didn't hit my that it came so close, yet came all the way back on me. And so that's when I guess some of the emotions started to come in, but you can see I was patient. I didn't rush into anything. It slow grinded up, and once again it seemed to kind of stall at this level here, and it threw this engulfing red candle. So I waited for it. It pushed back up, and if it broke below the bottom of this red candle, I was going to go short. Now, I was slightly premature on this entry, but it didn't continue, and obviously came back and stopped me out. Now, that was my 6th trade of the day. That really should have ended the day, but I was... Well, what else can I say? I was a little upset with having those last 2 trades there on Uber, how they went, and just, I got to get more comfortable with closing the day off red. And I've got to be more disciplined to follow my rules of 6 trades. But because I was in the red at this point, 1.6 R, $120 for the day. Would have been a small loss, and then you can see here that it pushed up, and when it stalled at this level, I took a bunch. These are where all 3 of those trades happened. All really emotional trades, because I knew I shouldn't be taking them. That's how, I knew I should have been taking them. They were scared trades because I knew I was breaking a rule. But I took them anyways. It was unfortunate. That added another 1.6 R to my losses to the day. And I'm not going to lie, after this 3rd trade, I was definitely feeling like I was going to go on tilt. But the one shining light on this is, although I broke the rule, I stopped for the day there. And it was even more painful than having to stop here, because at this point now I'm upset with myself. But I feel that that's progress, because I stopped, and I didn't stop in time, but I did stop, and it is what it is. So that was the trading day for me. And I ended up closing the day off, like I said, 3.2 R in the red. So there's 3 days left, because I'm only going to allow myself 5 trades for each remaining day at this point. So with today and yesterday, I am at 3.6R red for the week. And if all remaining trades, lose, then that'll put me at 18.6R red for the week. And I'm only pointing that out not because I'm expecting that to happen. To the contrary, I would be extremely surprised if that did happen, because I'm not trading horribly. I just need to fix these things. But I'm pointing it out because at the beginning of the week, I did say that I was prepared to take a 30R loss for the week, but fully expecting that it was not going to get to that point. So after 2 days, 3.6R, I can live with that. It's a little bit more bitter just because it really should have only been, I should have only been red for the week now. 1.8, sorry, 1.8R, I guess, or sorry, 2, it would have been, 1.8R, sorry, because it was 0.4 yesterday, and I was 1.2 R down at 6 trades today, but I'm down 3.6, and tomorrow's a new day, and the focus tomorrow is to stick to the rules and keep following them. I am committed to this limitation until I can stick to it for at least 2 weeks running, however long that takes, and also get myself to that 50% win rate. So which I think is fully attainable. Just, when you take those extra trades like I did today, that just really, really hurts the win percentage also. So that's it. That's all. Thanks for continuing to join me through this process as we work on improving as a trader. So thanks so much for tuning in also. Have a great evening, and we will see you on tomorrow's recap. This is AJ on Day Trader Boom or Bust, signing out. Cheers.